try this. Huh? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I am closer. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming silversmithing, not necessarily blacksmithing today. Give me half a second. I have my laptop over here, and it's like, okay. So can you guys hear me? I hope you guys can hear me. I've got my laptop over here, so if you see me looking over here and like reaching real high, that's what I'm up to. So yeah, I'm looking. This is kind of a scuffy stream, or it might be a scuffy stream. We're gonna see how this goes. Yes, 10 stream streak, so you guys can hear me. Okay, it looks like I am broadcasting sound from the OBS. All right, coolies. Okay, so today is the debut of our brand spanking new-ish, I guess, silversmithing setup that I've put together. This is a lot of stuff that I've been putting together for many, many years, but I didn't really have a good space for it. So we've created a space so that I can hang out here and kind of figure out if this is working or, all that sort of stuff. So it looks like I have an ad that is about to start. So except I don't know how long it's going to be starting because I only have one monitor today, unfortunately. So, I have a little bit of a crowded screen, so hopefully, if I miss the ad, I apologize. So yeah, once the ad is over, I'll kind of take you on a walkthrough of the new setup and what's here and what I've got going on. So we are going to continue working on our Pauldron, but we're gonna do some of the decoration stuff, and I'm pretty much I'm looking forward to this. It's something that I'm pretty excited about, so we'll see how it goes, and hopefully, fingers crossed, everything works pretty well. The butler is here helping me kind of troubleshoot what's going on, making sure that, if something screwy happens, that I am covered. And yeah, we're also kind of testing the new Wi-Fi wireless HDMI setup. So that's pretty cool. Butler, can I ask you a favor? Can you close the curtain on the sliding door? I'm looking at a giant sliding door and it's really, really bright out. So I've got this like green block of, bright light. That's a lot better, but it's a lot darker too. So I don't know. Well, we might have to figure this one out. I think that we're a little bit too dark. Hey, Mahalo. Don't trip and fall, please. So, yeah. I'm not entirely sure how far the ad is out because, like I said, I'm having a little bit of issue with my single monitor. I know. The butler is like, because, I normally run with two monitors because I'm special and spoiled, and I really love my two monitors. So 15 seconds ads, thank you. But by the time I read that, it's probably ad time. So yeah, once this ad is over, I will kind of give you guys like a little bit of a tour and kind of what I have here set up. You guys can probably tell I'm actually sitting today. This is kind of, what you do at a silversmithing bench. You do kind of sit a lot. I future-proof my message for Twitch lag. Ooh, that's very clever. That's very clever. I think I have about a 15-second delay on the broadcast because that way it can like buffer and stuff. But yeah, I think that's what the setting is. So like I said, once the ad is over, we will go into, I'll kind of give you a tour of the bench and some of the stuff behind me. I'm really excited about it because, like, yeah. It's been
going wireless.
Yes, we are also testing going wireless. So, okay, cool. Yes, hey Butler. That's awkward. When the ad popped up, it scrolled up my chat. There we go. That's better. Hopefully that's better. So, yeah, we are going to start decorating our shoulder piece eventually. So the plan is actually to do about 2 streams here in this shop, and then we'll probably go back into the main shop, because I think that is probably going to be about the time it takes us to finish the shoulder. So fingers crossed. It might be like 3 streams. We'll see. Hopefully this works out for me and I don't immediately regret this. But let's see. My ad break ends in about 20 seconds. Okay. Cool. Cool. Stop. I do have a few things that I need to make in the blacksmith shop for in here in the silversmithing shop. Like, I need a torch holder. Okay, we are back. So welcome back from the ad. So I think we are going to take a little bit of time to kind of take a little bit of a tour of the small shop. So I think we're probably going to start with the bench. So apologies for any weird lumps and bumps along the way while we are kind of moving the camera around. We've got a live operator, so that's exciting. All right, so this is my jeweler's bench. It's a bit of a high bench because I put, it makes it a lot easier for me to do things. So right here is where I put my bench pin. And a bench pin is a tool that is used to or for sawing. I'm sure if you guys watch Curie, you guys know all about bench pins and using a jeweler saw with them and stuff. So that's why the bench is so high. Right now I have kind of cleared off the space. Normally I have this lovely block of granite that it sits here. And this is kind of to help me with some like soldering. I also, if I need to, I've moved a piece of steel in here that will help me to solder as well. And we've got a new torch. Isn't that lovely? It's brand spanking new. I have actually started the torch. And I don't have a torch rest, so I'm using my a wrench. So, and then over here, I'll move my phone because, you guys don't need to see my phone on top of stuff. These are like dapping blocks and punches. These are all letters. So you can kind of see, like I think that one is an A. So we've got letters and numbers and this is a circle cutter right here. This guy right here, I broke my finger using this guy. So, you got to be real careful. So you can take sheet steel and stick it inside of there. And then you use these guys and stick them in there, and it'll cut circles for you. Just don't miss, or you'll break your finger. So that's a few of the neato tools that I have here on the actual bench. And then behind me, no forge. How will we stay warm? How's things? Hey, Dr. Optimal. I'm doing pretty good here. I'm actually inside my house, so it's heated. So on this side of the shop, which is behind me, I have kind of some storage at the bottom. So these two are hammers. So if I open this, well, I guess there's no hammers in here, but these are like different stakes and stuff like that. Here's one of the hammers, but I melted the head, or I mean the handle. Is it too dark? So here is some of the, like, this is a set of car body hammers. They're actually pretty good for silversmithing. This is like my old kit. A lot of the hammers are kind of broken or gnarly. So I have another set that's brand spanking new, and that's this guy right here. So in this guy, I'll probably trade these hammers for this. You'll definitely want to see this. This is fun. This is all scrap copper and nickel silver and some brass. Here's a little piece that this is piercing. So I glued this piece of paper onto this piece of steel, and you can see that I cut that out with a jeweler saw. Pretty intricate, pretty fun. So this is a technique called reticulation. So I basically solidified the outside of this is a piece of brass, and then I melted the interior of this. So this is done by oxidizing the outside and then melting the inside. So you can see some of the wonderful like wrinkles that you get in that. It's a really pretty, and here's a piece that's kind of a little bit less I guess I don't know, brown. So here's some nickel silver, some sterling silver. So I've got quite a bit. I do a lot of this stuff. No breaking fingers. Yes, definitely no breaking fingers. And so this is where we're going to be. This is our home base for today. So this is a 3-pot. I guess it's a, what is this called? A crock pot. So inside here, I have microcrystalline wax, and it's melting. So what we're going to do here with all of this microcrystalline wax is we are going to pour it in here. And that is going to be the resist so that we can do the decorations for our pauldron. So that's kind of a little short tour of the stuff that I actually have like set up. Over there is the other post vise. I haven't quite gotten it onto the stand yet. But yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's going to be fun. Oh, up there are some of the pieces that I have made. We've got an aluminum hand holding a brass mask. And then that is an aluminum face. This one was sand casted. This one was a plaster flask burnout. And then I've got a couple pieces back there that I've done. That is a copper vessel. We're doing a very similar technique today, where I put in these flutes, and I'm going to be using the same fluting technique to put in the ridges in our pauldron. That is a lily pad that I made with a master blacksmith at the Metals Museum. And this is kind of a steel torque I made. So those are some of the cool things that we've made. Whoa, are we good?
I hope so.
The butler kind of tripped over the
Flammables.
my flammables. So down there I have gases. So for the torch. All right. So I think now that we've kind of gotten a little bit of our tour done, I think I'm actually going to start doing a little bit of work. So I hope you guys like the new shop. I know I do. Like I said, there's a few things that I need to finish down here. A few more pieces of equipment that I need to acquire. But overall, I think we're doing all right. So yeah, like I said, we'll be here for probably three streams. 2, maybe 3. We'll see how long it takes for this. All right. Yeah, we got to not trip on the gas bottles. All right. So I am going to flip our cameras. Let's see. I think I made that right. Okay. So this right here is our pauldron. And we still got a little bit of scale on here, but I think it's all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of denote where we want these ridges to be. So we need a central ridge, and I'm going to move this guy out of the way. Put it over there. And we're going to kind of look down the pauldron and see where there's a nice center. And this marker kind of sucks, but that's all right. We'll figure it out. So I don't have an inset because I don't really like have a good view or a good place to put the inset. At least I don't think we do. All right, I think you guys can see the mark that I'm making. Hey, Rabbit Scotsman. Do you ever use a jeweler's loupe or a magnifying glass? I do. I'm going to move this line over a little bit because we still have a bit of a twist. If you look at that, there's still a little bit of a twist. So we're going to kind of offset for the twist because eventually we're going to correct that. So, this marker sucks. All right, so that's going to be kind of our central line. I need to move this central line here. And I think we're going to actually start with this line here. I want to put a line about, I want to make a ridge about 1 inch in width. Oh, you know what? I totally forgot to hit the record button on that guy. So let me see if I can't figure that out real fast. If I can see, that would be great.
Big button.
Which one?
The big one.
Oh, that big button. I think I did it. I don't know.
It's wrong.
What?
It's wrong.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I do actually use a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe. Here's one that I've used in the past. You can see it's kind of filthy, absolutely filthy. But I actually have an Optivisor, and it's in my other shop. It's in the former cold shop. I forgot to grab that. I won't need it for this because this is a pretty big project, but in the future, if we do some more jewelry stuff, I'll probably end up using it. I use it a lot for soldering, especially on earring posts and necklaces when I am fixing them. So we're kind of denoting here where we want this ridge to be, because like I said, we've got a central ridge we want to take care of. And I'm kind of eyeballing this. I can correct it as we go. I'm really only trying to give myself a little bit of a guide. All right. I'm usually pretty good at making guidelines and eyeballing things like this. But you know, if you want things to be like really precise, always measure it. Obviously. But we're doing a little bit of artist interpretation here. I don't even know if you guys can see this black marker. It's so terrible. Alrighty. It's a bit jarring to see you without your ear protection, right? I'm kind of not. I'm not laying it up. Okay. So the next thing that we're gonna do is, now that we've got our lines in here, kind of. This is, like I said, it's going to be a little bit straighter as we go. We've got a little bit of a gap here that we want to shove this direction eventually. We're gonna flip this over like so. And we're going to tape it up. So this is gaff tape. And it's like fancy duct tape. Do we have anything better, or like not necessarily better, but less expensive than this as far as tape?
We have to keep duct tape around.
I know. We only ever keep gaff tape around. I feel a little bad using it for this, but I think it'll be all right. All right, so basically we are going to be closing this area here, this hole. I hope you guys can see that. And let me, I think the butler has a better angle on this. But basically, we're just trying to make sure that the wax doesn't pour straight out of this. Because we're going to fill this whole thing with wax. All right. You can kind of see what we've got going on there. And then what we've got going on there. Like I said, we're just trying to make sure that the wax doesn't go pouring out of this. So we are going to be going over it a little bit further towards the bottom so it doesn't pour out the bottom. All right, so like I said, we're going to be focusing in on the central line, so I don't need it to go, or the wax to go all the way to the top, but eventually we will want it all the way up there because we've got a lot of ridging on the edges as well. So that is our next project. All right, next, let's take a look at our wax and see how it's doing. I turn this on a... What?
All the way around.
Oh, well, you know what? Here, let me do this real fast. Apologies for all of the, and I was too late, goodness gracious. I'm sorry.
I didn't want to trip over your gas again.
I know, I'm sorry. All right, so we've got some there. It's not fully melted, so we'll probably want to wait a little bit. All right, so we do have some there. We have some giant chunks as well, so. All right. And there's some hair in there because this is very used wax. I've used this so many times for different projects. All right. Let's see how this goes. I had thought about doing this like off stream and just having it already full by the time you guys saw me, but I don't know. Maybe I should have. We don't have all of our wax melted, so. And we will eventually have to wait for this to cool as well, so we'll probably do a little bit of just talking for a little bit. Wow, that's a giant chunk.
It looks like chocolate syrup. It doesn't smell like chocolate syrup.
No, it does not smell like chocolate syrup. It does look like it, but it does not smell like it. Alright. I need a good spot to put this. Oh, I have wax on my nail. Put that over there for the moment. It's about as high as I can go right now, and that's all right. So now we need to wait for that to cool. Yummy. We'll put that there for now. All right. So this is our pauldron partially full of wax, and we will play with that in a little bit. Not fondue, yes. Is the buffering just my side? It might be our side. We are currently using a wireless like capture card. So it goes from the camera to the like through the air through some kind of like Wi-Fi thing, and then to the capture card. So I'm not sure. It might be, you know. It's good for me. Okay, cool.
Let us know how bad the buffering is.
Yes. Please let us know how bad the buffering is. We're kind of a little bit on the testing side of things and kind of trying to figure things out for the future. I do actually have 3 cameras hooked up right now, so if it becomes an issue, we will put it back onto one of the wired cameras. So, yeah. I mean, seems pretty clear. Just every now and then it freezes. Must be on my side. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, not cool that it's freezing on your side, but yeah. All right, I'm going to go back to the close-up cam. That way the butler can kind of figure themselves out. Yes, if you can keep that on there. I have an errand for you. Never mind. I think I'll just like leave it. Huh? I was gonna. I know you live to serve, but I was gonna like have you maybe put this guy in the fridge for a few. Oh, you know what? We do. I forgot about the fridge. We have a basement fridge. We have a basement fridge that I forgot about. All right. Give me half a second here. This is very warm. You know what? I'm going to give you the whole thing. I gave myself a little bit of a setup. I'm trying not to spill this. It's a little on the heavy side. Thank you. All right. It should be good. It should be good. Just be careful. All right. So we're gonna put it in the freezer for just a little bit to see if, or because it'll solidify a lot quicker if we use like a fridge or a freezer. Like I said, this is microcrystalline wax, so it is melting in the crock pots behind me, and so it's got to cool in order for us to be able to use it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the tools are you all right over there? Going to be using.
Yeah, I just have to move the pretzels.
Oh, okay. Basement fridge, as one does. The butler lives to serve. So today we are working on a Mandalorian armor pauldron. So we have all of the, we took a flat sheet and we rounded it out into the shape of a shoulder. And so we've got that nice and done. And last Friday, what we did is we smoothed everything out and made sure that everything is a uniform thickness and it's ready to go. So today what we're going to be doing is we are going to be taking a chisel, a special chisel, and a hammer. And this is the same hammer that I was using for smoothing it, but it'll work for this process too. But we are going to put some lines in there. So the Mandalorian has some edging along the edge of the pauldron, so like trim. And then there's also a really high ridge down the center of the pauldron. So we are going to be putting those in today. So what I've got here, and I'm going to change so that you can kind of see it, is a regular chisel. Now this one's a little bit on the rusty side, I will admit, but it's also relatively used. So it's kind of a trash chisel to begin with. It's one of the Harbor Freight green guys. Everybody has a set of these. I have wax all over my fingers, but that's all right. Needless to say, what I've done is I've taken the corners off, right? So there is still corners, but they're not like really sharp corners. So I've rounded out the edge, and then I've also gone and used a file to round out the chisel part. So we no longer have any sharp edges. Hey Bluesy, welcome to the stream. Yeah. I don't have any sharp edges either. So yeah, we are going to use this to put in some of the lines. So we're going to start working on the bottom line. So if you want thickness, you go from the top to get the bottom lines, and then you go from the interior to get the top lines, right, for your thickness. It's also going to thin out the pauldron itself. So, that's the goal. So we're just going to be using this guy with this guy and hammering in the lines and the ridges. So that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, if we don't finish that today, I'm going to take us back to here. If we don't finish that today, then we will finish that on Wednesday. And then once we're done with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take a sheet of steel, and we are actually going to do a little bit of piercing. And I showed you kind of some paisley that I pierced out earlier today when we were doing the shop tour. But it's basically, let me grab the piece out because not everybody was there. So what we do is we glue on a piece of paper and we drill in little tiny holes into it. And then we use a jeweler's saw to cut out all of the little negative space. So we're going to do that with the mud horn that the Mandalorian has as the symbol on his pauldron. So that is the plan. We're going to add the mud horn as an applique as opposed to using it or like just chasing it right in there because there isn't a lot of texture. It's just a little bit raised. So yeah, we're just gonna apply it later. So that is the plan for the next couple days. I mean, there is no Harbor Freight on this continent. Well, that's true, you know, in Europe and Asia. And I mean, okay, anybody who lives in the United States and uses chisels might have a set of the Harbor Freight ones. I don't know. A set of cheap chisels that's probably the better method to talk about that. Most people have a set of cheap chisels. I thought you were going to say you made that with a hammer and chisel. No, I did not. I actually used a jeweler saw. So it looks like this. This is a jeweler saw. And I think this actually has a wax cutting blade on it right now. This is a spiral blade, but I have all these teensy-weensy little blades. Teensy-weensy little blades. This right here is a bundle of 12 blades. There's a dozen blades in that bundle right there. And so I used a teeny-weeny little blade on this jeweler saw to cut out that little pierced paisley piece. So, all right, I don't need this, so this is going to go over here. I actually have a woodworking setup over there. I got a miter saw over there and some clamps and things. Oh, we're going to go over there and show. So, I mean, I'm really just talking a little bit on the stream of consciousness side. I never get weekends in time or off in time to see you stream. I tend to stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I think that Fridays for some people it is Saturday. Like I know that Fridays for Lexi is Saturday mornings, but I think that's the only weekend day that I do stream. We do have John Brunel, who streams on Sundays, and you guys should check him out over on YouTube. And yeah, he's another blacksmith. He streamed Sunday. I don't remember what he was streaming. Lexi posted on my Discord the link to that. So you can go and maybe check out that VOD since it's already been streamed. But he's another amazing blacksmith that you guys should check out if you have the chance. As a mechanic, whatever you do not have the correct tool to loosen a nut or a bolt, you use a hammer, a chisel, or a punch. I mean, that's true. That's definitely the truth. Or, I mean, like WD-40, occasionally you use an oxyacetylene torch. I mean, I've done that before. All right. So I'm going to go and check the freezer real fast. So all right, cool. Still a little on the warm side, but I think it'll be all right. I think it is solid enough. So you guys can kind of see what it looks like in there. That's the wax. It kind of looks like chocolate if you ask me, but definitely not chocolate. Definitely not something that you want to eat. It doesn't taste very good, I promise. All right. I brought. No, I did not bring. I had intended on bringing a paper towel down here. Thank you. Evening sandwich. Yeah, we're in a new workshop today. So this is my jewelry setup. We did a little bit of a tour, kind of an impromptu, awkward tour earlier. So yeah, now we are going to spend a little bit of time putting some decorations on our pauldron. So we've got lovely wax inside there. It's a little bit warm still, not too bad. It's solid enough that it's gonna, thank you, that it should stay pretty well. Wax gets everywhere when we're doing this, so I'm trying to like give myself a little bit of a buffer. All right. I think you guys can, okay, that should be good. I want to make sure. Okay, I think we're good. All right. So, let's see. Can you guys see? I don't know that you guys can see. Let me start over here then. Maybe you guys will be able to see over here. All right, so you can kind of see that line that's starting right there. We want to make sure that we are starting our chisel about halfway through the line, the previous line that we made, so that we're not creating any weirdness. There's headphones over there if you need them. Are you good? I might need them, yeah.
I'll go get some.
No, they're right there. I brought them for you. What is the wax being used for? Oh, it also helps when I actually have my glasses on. Let me put inset right there so you guys maybe I'll put an inset. Yes, okay. So I guess it's a little bit close. So I thought that I was going to see me, but that's fine.
Have you back?
Okay. So what the wax is actually doing is that it's creating a stiff area that will give, and it's going to allow me, because, okay, so if I were going to be doing this without any backing, what would happen is I would collapse all of the work that I've already done, right? And by putting the microcrystalline wax, or more commonly pitch, this is a pitch bowl technique. Whoops, I missed. It gives me a little bit of a backing so I don't collapse my my work. Butler, am I getting too hot or too high with the hammer? Okay, so you can kind of see in here that we're getting a little bit of a line started there, and that's exactly what we want to see. Yeah. Yeah, but it's only when it does not work I missed a thing. Never say, whoops, I missed. I missed. I cursed when I hit my hand. I didn't hit my hand, though. Kind of like filling a pipe with sand before bending the pipe. Yes, exactly. Kind of like that. Because I did all of this work to kind of round out the whole thing. I didn't do any, or I would hate to ruin it. All right, I'm going to flip the inset. So we're going to do this. And then we're going to do, or maybe if I flip the inset the way I thought I was going to flip the inset, that would help. I think it worked. Yes. Okay, cool. And if I'm doing anything weird, if you guys would rather see any or something another way, please do let me know. Because, like I said, this is kind of a new thing for me. This is going to be a little bit slow going, so like I said, it might actually take me until Friday to do this. Doing my best to follow this line that I created. When can we expect a full armor piece? Well, I mean, we have a full armor piece here. Really, we're only decorating it. But I mean, if you really want to see a full armor piece, I don't know. I suppose I could send the butler on an errand to go get one. I've got a few laying around. Most of the armor pieces, though, that I've made do not belong to me. They were purchased by clients I had over the years.
We just have the rejects.
We just have the rejects. Not everything was a reject. All right, so we've got a little bit of a ridge going here. You can kind of, if I show you here, butlers are for errands. Yes. We need to see a full suit of Mandalorian armor from scratch. I know, right? So you can kind of see, if I move this back and forth, you might be able to kind of see the ridge that's starting to form there. And I may end up actually pulling the whole thing over a little bit further. Like you can see the line that I've drawn in here, but it's a little bit thin now that I'm thinking about it. I didn't really leave myself enough space for the interior ridge, so the bump up. So this is the bump down, and we need a corner. We need a nice top corner on there. And so I forgot to leave myself some space. So I think I might shift this over a little bit, which shouldn't be a big thing because this side is raised a lot more than this side is. So we should just be able to kind of like move the whole thing over a little bit. So I just got to remember that I said that I was going to do that. So maybe I'll denote that a little bit here, like so. Then we'll get a little bit wider of a ridge. And that works actually pretty decently. Anyway, so should be good. Should be good. So now what we've got is the central ridge in here. The first initial denotation is now going to be the top / center of the ridge. I don't know if you guys can hear my heater going. Butlers are to buttle, which is to bring alcohol. Yes. Imagine Damascus armor. It would be a serious stretch. I mean, really hard to stretch, but imagine. It would be really pretty to see Damascus armor. However, that would be quite a bit of expense because, I mean, it takes a lot of steel in order to make a piece of Damascus steel, right? For like even just a knife, right? You lose about, I think Alex Steele said somewhere in the neighborhood of 80% of your steel is lost to the process. So in order to make a full set of armor out of Damascus, that would be something ridiculous as far as the amount of steel that you would need. You know, because just something like this would take ridiculous amounts of steel, you know? It's derivative of a bottle, and traditionally they were the people in charge of alcohol in the manor. Wine, cellar, beer, butts, hard cider. To hammer that flat would be insane. Yeah, 80%. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And I could be wrong too. I mean, I would have to look it up specifically. And I guess I can do that. But here, let me see if I can't look it up in another tab. It says some typically ranging from 25 to 50%, with some estimates suggesting losses from 60 to 80%, depending on the complexity of the pattern. Never seen it made. Yeah. So if you're interested in seeing it made, there's some really good videos that Alex Steele has on his YouTube channel. He's pretty famous for some of his Damascus knives and things that he's made. And we are at our hour mark, Butler. So if you would like to trade what we're up to. Yeah, and then you can go to the gym. All right, so I'm going to go to here. But it can be recovered and resmelted. It heavily depends, right? So when you're making Damascus steel, you are okay. So see, kind of this little dust stuff that's coming off of our piece. So this is basically rust, right? It was hot rust. It's like oxidation from the pauldron itself, right? So you lose a lot of steel in the Damascus process to scale, right? But then you also lose the beginning and the end of all of your patterns, because it takes a little bit of time to get the pattern correct. So there's always some weird warpage that you have to take into account when you're making Damascus, and so you lose a lot there. And then anytime you are restacking it, so you know how in katana making it, they talk about how you are folding and refolding and folding some more to create multiple layers, like large layer counts. So when you're making Damascus steel and you are sawing up the pieces to restack them, you are actually losing a lot of material in that process. All right. So yeah. I'm busy working on my first knife, making a fish fillet knife for my neighbor from a coil spring. I hope I don't mess it up. I mean, you know what? Even if you do mess it up, a lot of what you can do, or you can actually fix a lot of mistakes in blacksmithing. Whether you're fixing it through forging or fixing it through grinding, it's pretty forgiving overall. The only thing that's really obnoxious is when you accidentally crack it on temper. So just be a little bit careful with that during that process, and you should be good. All right, you got everything good? Okay. I have nothing, no view on that camera at all.
No view of the camera?
Correct. So I'm going to put this as an inset so I can kind of see what it looks like as we're doing, and you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. Still nothing. Apologies for the scuff. Yeah, we did need to see if it would work, and it looks like it's not working. Tell the neighbor, oh, I see stuff now. It's not a mistake, it's a happy accident. If he doesn't like it, he will have an unhappy accident. An unhappy accident? That's not cool. All right, we're good. I can see now. So I'm gonna flip the insets again. That way you guys can kind of see what I'm when I'm talking to you guys. But you can also kind of see what I'm doing. And I will be flipping these a little bit as well as we go. I don't really have a good way to change the view like we have been in the past. Normally I try to change the different view, but I just don't have a way to do that in this shop right now. So we do what we can. So once I'm happy with both of these lines, we're probably going to warm up the pauldron, like the full pauldron, and kind of get the wax out of the inside of this. And then we're going to start working on creating the upper ridge on this piece. And that should be a fun process. But then we'll go and we will kind of assess the edges of the piece, and we'll cut off any pieces that we are kind of sticking out weirdly. We'll correct any like shift, and we'll start working on the edging, the trim on the edge. Well, he gave me a bunch of leaf springs, so he's getting the knife for free. Have you noticed this chisel or have you modified this chisel to crease and not cut? Yes, yes, I have. So, here. So if you look at this chisel, I've taken the corners out or off of it, right? So normally a chisel is like a very straight edge, and I've taken the corners off so that I don't puncture our line. And then I have also rounded out the chisel section. So we don't have a point at the top, we have a round section. It's thinner, it's more like a fuller than a hot cut, if that makes sense. So that's the goal. Because we're really we're just trying to move the material aside. We're not trying to cut it. Straight edge, wasn't that a musical movement? Maybe. Yeah, I'm not supposed to drink soda on stream, but you know what? I'm not out in the main shop, so this is what I used to drink when I was a jeweler. I would go and get like Panda Express or Subway or some kind of, good lunch or whatever I had for lunch, and I'd bring the soda inside, and that's what I would be drinking for most of the rest of the day. So part of the reason I allow myself to do that is because I don't really dehydrate when I'm doing things like this. I'm going to move this direction so that you guys can still see what I'm doing. I'm not covering the piece with my hand. Where I could completely miss. The best part about this really is that I'm not hitting it hard enough that if I hold the chisel really far down like this, I'm not going to hit my fingers. I just need to make sure that my fingers are not under the chisel. So, yeah. Ugh. I'm curious, if you don't mind me asking, how do you forge with the laptop around and get dust on it? I clean it off. I don't leave it in the shop. So between streams, I will take the laptop out of the shop and I bring it in the house. And if it's dirty, I clean it up. And I mean, I know it is a risk. It definitely is a risk bringing the laptop out into the blacksmith shop. But if I didn't, you guys wouldn't be able to see what I do. I do not judge. You want Mountain Dew, you need it. Yep. Oh, there went my other. So this is a star punch that I used for some Taylor Swift bracelets that I made when I went to the Taylor Swift show. It doesn't fit in any of the cases for my letter punches, so I'm it kind of floats and it fell. So part of me is really excited that you guys did not make me do something crazy like the Varian Rin Pauldron, because if you guys remember, this is a audience request design. I let you guys pick which design that we wanted to do. And you guys picked the Mandalorian's pauldron. So it's actually relatively simple as far as the chasing and repose I have to do in order to create the decorations for this. But I'm also a little bit, ever so slightly disappointing because it's a lot of fun doing some really intricate chiseling. But it would have taken a really long time, so part of me is grateful and part of me is like, oh, lamenting. I mean, like the fan intake, it's going to suck it right into the cooling. I have cans of compressed air that if it becomes a huge issue, I can get it out of there. I haven't had that big of a problem with it though. I tend to keep it far enough away from what I'm actively doing that it's not that big of a problem. And eventually it will wear out the laptop a little bit faster than if I had not taken it out to the shop, and we're aware of that. So, yes, glare. No, you're not glaring at me. You're just smiling. I would love to stream myself forging, but I cannot take my PC to my forge, sadly. Yeah, that's kind of why I got the laptop. It makes it a lot easier for me to take it out to the shop and then back. When I first started streaming though, and this may be an option for you, I actually started streaming using my phone. So there are a couple applications that you can use. Streamlabs has one. And you can use your smartphone to stream. It's not quite as stable as using a laptop or a desktop with OBS, but it is possible. Definitely possible. And how am I doing? All right, cool. So I'm hammering on to this guy right here, but I'm also kind of looking to make sure that I'm not digging into the top of my bench a little bit, which there's a couple little dings here and there, but it's not too bad. I'm gonna need strong Wi-Fi connection then. Yes. Do you have specs for the laptop? Would be nice to see what it would cost for something just able to stream on the Forge. I would not be able to myself, but I think so. I have, what do I have? I got 32 gigs of RAM.
It's 32 or 64. I don't remember.
I think it's 32 gigs of RAM. Yeah, we did have to skimp on the RAM. It's 30.
Get it for you. I don't have it immediately.
Yeah, we can. If you're interested, I can put the specs of my laptop on the Discord. There's a link to the Discord on the channel page. There's also, if you hit ! Discord, you can get the link to that there as well. So yeah, if you're interested in the specs of my laptop, just remind me, like send me ping me on Discord and I will see about getting the specs for that laptop. This laptop is a little bit beefier than you would need for just streaming, because we wanted to be able to edit with the laptop as well. So it's got kind of a beefier graphics card in it.
I think we got a pretty good deal. It was about 600.
Yeah, it was about 600, but that was last like fall. Or like late summer, early fall, and computer components, at least here in the United States, have gone ridiculously high. So
I saw it at Best Buy for about $1,100.
the same laptop was, apparently we saw it at Best Buy the other day for $1,100. What we paid $650 for. Yeah, 32 gigs. And yes, it is kind of expensive. I posted the meme in your Discord under pictures. Oh, that's all right. That's all right, Bluesy. Most of the things in our meme channel on the Discord are dad jokes and puns. So I maybe probably need to change the title of that channel to the dad joke channel. All right, now we're gonna flip this over again. We've got a nice ridge going. You can kind of see if I move this like so. I think you can see that there's a ridge starting to develop there. And that's exactly what we want to see. I want to increase the depth of this just a little bit, and then we will heat this guy up with the torch and get the wax out of here. But we're getting there. We're getting real close. I'm not going all the way to the edges because I want that main ridge done first before I do the edging, because I need to figure out like which parts of the edge that I need to cut off. This is kind of a back and forth sort of process. We will be adding and removing the wax multiple times in this process. It is a funny tool expectation picture. Maybe. Speaking of, what sits in a tree is yellow and dangerous. A canary with a machine gun. Remember, it cannot be stuck when it is a liquid. That is very, very true. That's very true. All right, there's a couple of spaces in here that you may not be able to see as well because I'm kind of having to get a better angle. So I'll do what I can. Try to keep things where I promised I would, keep them for the camera and the focus and stuff. All right.
If we get to a commercial break, I can move your top down.
I think we already passed a commercial break.
I don't want to do that to your audience for you.
Yeah. Unfortunately, in this configuration, I can't really tell when the commercials are coming as much. But I mean, I feel like it's less important because the process is going to be the same regardless. You're not getting anything special. It's just me sitting here doing a little bit of chiseling. I don't miss. We want all the fingers when we're done. Yes, I try very hard not to miss. This is why I use an oxyacetylene torch. That's true. The oxyacetylene torch would make this a lot easier because it would be hotter and the steel moves a lot easier when it's hot. And we will be using the oxypropane torch to get the wax out of here when we're ready. And we're almost ready. Alright. Got a little bit over here we're going to do, and then just to keep this. I'm coloring outside the lines, guys. I'm coloring outside the lines, and I need to not do that. The whole point of making the lines was so that I would color inside the lines. All right. All right, I think I'm all right with that. We'll look down it. Looks pretty good. All right. And this is why there's like always hairs and like all kinds of nasty inside of the wax pot, because it's, you know, I am oftentimes using things like paper towel and it gets in there. All right. Let's see. Do I want to take the tape off? Or do I want to just heat it up the way it is? I don't want to burn the tape. I should probably take the tape off, huh? All right. Okay. So we're going to go from that one to this one, and I think I've cut off my head. Alrighty. Oh man, I've got all kinds of wax all over my hands. I need to add more wax to the wax pot. Oxypropane works, but doesn't get quite as hot, does it? Yeah. It's a little bit cleaner, though. I think oxyacetylene gets a little hotter. Burnt tape smell, yes. I mean, we don't care. We can't smell it, but that's probably not a good breathing either. Yes, that's very, very true. Okay. Let's see. This is probably too little of a torch for this process. I think it might be. See if what we're doing here. Is this working? No, it's not. All right. Butler, I need the other torch.
From the other shop?
Yuppers. We're going to grab the other torch, and it should work a lot better. It should give us a little bit more heat, a little bit more focused heat. Also, can I have a tongs?
What?
A tongs. That way I don't heat it up too much and burn myself. Yeah, we're a little bit scuffy today, unfortunately. I just was not completely sure everything that I need. So yeah. Apologies for the mini scuff today, or not necessarily mini scuff. It's probably pretty scuffy. So I apologize for that. Ray is not messing around, bringing out the big torch. It's not really the big torch necessarily. It's just the torch that I light the forge with. Thank you much. Appreciated.
There you go.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Stay. I have not used this setup yet. This is like the very first time I've used this setup, so this is why I'm having a few issues. So apologies. Apologies.
So that wasn't ready to go online yet.
It wasn't
It's
ready.
very cold outside.
It was super cold outside, and I was either going to have to cancel or stream from in here, unfortunately. So I needed to stream from in here anyway because I needed to do this process, but I wasn't ready yet. I think I wasn't ready yet. Are you starting to melt yet? You should be starting to melt now. Woo, this torch is really cold. I cannot read chat from over here. So apologies, guys. Apologies. I think I got needs more fire. I think I see that thing there.
or more under your control.
Oh, okay. Well.
It's less going to work with us. Shut them
Check it, guys. It came out. It's still dripping wax everywhere, but the wax is gone. So yay. All right. So now we're good to go on that. So let's turn that off. Let's kind of use this to kind of get the dripping under control. Yay! All right. Now we're going to stick this over here for a little bit. We're going to allow it to kind of dry. Not dry, but cool is what I'm trying to say. And then this part needs to melt again because we will be using it again later. I need to do that to this guy too because this is covered in wax. Anyway, yeah. So let's see. What did I miss? Ray's not messing around bringing out the big torch. Oh, you have seen her big torch. You guys have not actually seen my big torch. All right, I'm sitting again, Butler. I'll put that there for now because I need to take it back out to the big shop because I will eventually need it again. Yeah, you guys have not actually seen my big torch. I actually have a brush burner, and I modified it in a way in which you probably, or you definitely should not modify it, but I modified it to be a burner for a 55-gallon barrel forge that I was using as a burnout. So it was a 55-gallon barrel I cut in half. I lined it with fiber frax, had a nice hole in the side of it for the brush burner. It blew fire in a vortex around there, and I used it in a fire pit. So I didn't, start any fires or anything like that. But yeah, we were doing some casting, some bronze casting that way. Oh my gosh, Becky, look at her torch. It's so big. It's like one of those jeweler guys' torches, right? That's fun. So yeah, we are at an hour and a half, which I am like honestly not terribly surprised, but I'm also like I'm gonna run out of stuff to do at some point in the near future. So this might actually be a little bit of a shorter stream today. Like I said, I do have some interior chasing that I need to do, but I will need to do the cutting section. Like I talked about how I needed to smooth the edges and kind of cut everything so that it's the right size. Before I did the edge ridges, I will have to do those with the Beverly shear, and that is outside. It is like super duper cold outside today. Like I said, while I was getting the wax out of the shoulder piece, we were either going to be out here or we were going to be canceling stream today, and I really didn't want to have to do that. So we might be a little bit on the short side, but at least we had a stream to begin with. So I'm pretty okay with that, Was it any good for barbecue? I think it was a little bit much for barbecue, like that particular torch and the kiln system. Like I said, it was actually hot enough that I could melt bronze, and bronze's melting point is 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. So, I mean, obviously that's not, Celsius, so it's a little bit lower in the Celsius, but still. 1700 degrees Fahrenheit is no joke. You probably would not want to grill with that. Ugh. It's Gatorade o'clock. But I'm in my basement, so I don't know. Slightly charred. It would definitely be slightly charred. The other day, or yesterday, we actually had like I'm still waiting on the pauldron to kind of cool down a little bit. It's mostly cool, but it needs a little bit more cooling. Um, so yesterday we had like we went to Aldi's for groceries a couple weeks ago, and they had like this little microwavable burnt ends. It was like barbecue burnt ends, and so we tried that last night. It wasn't too bad. It kind of tasted like a McRib. I was kind of expecting it to be a little less than that. Oh, thank you. So yeah, the slightly charred that kind of made me think of those burnt ends. They didn't really taste like they were charred though. All right. All right, so we're gonna get rid of this guy. And instead, we're gonna use this guy. So this right here is my sandbag. We've used it before when we were trying to do our initial rounding. So it's a little bit of a resist, and it should work pretty darn well for what we're trying to do here. So it's a little on the warm side, but I think it's all right. Let's get a little bit more of the paper towel. That way I don't transfer wax all over. Every time I got ads coming out, it scrolls up my chat, so I can't see what you guys are up to. So apologies if I miss your stuff. Looks like we've got an ad break starting in about 2 minutes. I'm going to dismiss this. Yeah, there we go. I can see now. Okay. So if I go like this, whoops, this way, and then that, you guys should be able to see the two lines that we have started here, right? So what we're going to do is, it's kind of waxy on the inside of here, so this probably won't write very well, but we're going to come out and do a little bit of lining here. I want to give ourselves a little bit of a raised gap there. Kind of like so. I don't know that you can see that. I'm pretty sure I can't even see that. So we're going to do what we can. All right. This is going to be like when I sew stuff, you know, I'm supposed to be doing it at, you know, I think it's like 3/8 or something like that, but I always forget and I don't remember, and I just kind of like look at it. Okay. Ooh, I need headphones. I cannot. Way too loud for Ray. Let's see. Can I do it this way? Will you guys be able to see this a little bit easier that way? You guys can see a little bit, but I think it's all right. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. That way you guys can kind of see. So like I said, what I'm trying to do is create a top ridge. So I want to put a corner here. So we've got the bottom and the top ridge. That way it's going to close the pauldron just a hair, but it's also going to create a nice and even edge. So that's kind of what we're trying to get. But we haven't quite reached a corner yet. And this is really only the initial first few steps of this. Because what we really need to do is come back in on the opposite side and kind of push this central ridge inward and then this one outward. So we will be doing a couple of rounds, both interior and exterior, to kind of get that ridge nice and crisp. I will have to sleep. Thank you. Have a nice day. Well, you too, Sandwich. Sleep well. I'll see you later. Thank you for joining. And you guys are totally welcome to let me know how this, what you guys think of the stream format. If you guys think that I need to stick to what I have been doing, please let me know. I think that I want to expand to this if I can manage it, but I mean, if it's not working, then it's not working, I think it is, though. It seems to be working. As long as I can get things a little bit more settled and less movement, I think that it's all right. Maybe if I hadn't been testing both this setup and and also the other, or like the remote, it might have been a little bit smoother, but I think it's all right, honestly. We're starting to get a nice corner going. You can kind of see it right there. Nice ridge. Yeah, I think we'll be all right. We might need to move the interior ridge out a little bit further, and we'll be able to correct all of this. We didn't go terribly deep, so we should be able to correct this if we need to, if I decide we need to. All right, so we're going to come from this side now. I don't think you guys can see quite as well, so maybe I will do this with the inset over here. Hopefully you guys will be able to see pretty well. If I move this back and forth a little, you should be able to see what I'm up to. So now I'm going to this side over here. Kind of trying to keep everything nice and even. But I'm kind of eyeballing this, so, it's probably not going to look exactly like the reference, but it's going to be recognizable, to say the least. So on Friday, you guys were talking about how I was using a very rhythmic blow. I kind of feel like this is also a very rhythmic hammer pattern. What do you guys think? I think next time I do this, I'll probably bring a higher seat. Starting to get a little bit tired doing this. I already talked about how this is a little bit of a test of the setup as far as like the gear and the new I guess place, the new shop. But it's also kind of a test on how much stamina that this is going to take out of me and how long I'm going to be able to do this, etc. So I'm starting to get a little bit winded. So I probably will do a little bit more and then probably end the stream. I want to finish our ridging, but I am probably going to leave it at this. Once I'm finished with these two lines, we've got a nice corners starting to develop. You can kind of see that now. You know, we've got some nice corners. So once I'm happy with what we've got for the ridge, I'll probably end the stream for the day. I will be back on Wednesday to continue working on this. Like I said, we're going to be working on the edging. I will have this guy filled with wax and ready to go straight away on Wednesday so that we don't have to worry about the wax not being all the way melted and things like that. So, but yeah, I think I'm making some pretty decent progress. You can kind of see from here, maybe if I, you can kind of see that corner is starting to develop. I'm pretty happy with that. So give me just I'm going to take a tiny bit of a break and we'll continue working on this.
But the overhead isn't as useful as we thought it would be able to get it down to more of a lower 45 so you can move it as you need to. That's why I was trying to rearrange my arms.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's all right. I am buffering on my end, but hopefully you guys aren't buffering too. All right, let's keep on keeping on. Is the stream buffering? It was buffering on my end, but it might just be that I have a lot going on right now. So I don't know. Do you guys see the buffering? All right. We've got a nice ridge going there. I'm thinking that the next thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to come around here and kind of do one of these numbers where we are actually shoving this material over, because we've got our lower and our upper ridges pretty well denoted in here. Something happened with my connection that I had to restart Twitch. I don't know. It might be, like I said, it might be me. I did see some buffering. I am probably going to end the stream a little bit early because I am starting to get a little bit tired. I apologize, guys. Like I said, this is kind of more like a testing stream. I want to get this all done, and we're definitely going to get it done. But I am kind of in, a testing phase. So, but yeah, so I'm pretty happy with the amount of work that we got done. We will get more done soon in the next couple of streams. So, yeah, I think I will probably raid off because, like I said, I'm having a little bit of internet issues and stuff, and I'm tired. So, thank you all for joining me today, and thanks for putting up with the mini scuff episodes. So thank you guys so much. If there's anybody that you'd like to raid off to, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll find somebody. There's probably a few people raiding, or I mean, streaming. There's, there should be a bigger variety. So we'll see what we've got. Yeah, I hope you guys have a great evening as well. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, and I hopefully will see you on Wednesday. Let's see. Who shall we raid to? Oh, let's go raid to Miramac. Thank you guys so much. Like I said, have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you guys.